Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to 1 nil, and we've got a very, very special video today because I'm joined by the biggest Central Coast Mariners fan that I know on YouTube. We've got Lachie from Coast Watch Football. We've got a massive game on Saturday, Melbourne victory versus Central Coast Mariners. I'm going to leave a link to Coast Watch Football down below. Make sure to check it out. Lachie, thanks for joining me. How's it going, mate?
Mate, tachs so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, Lachie, as we know, you're a Central Coast Mariners fan yourself. How important is it for this Mariners run that they're going on in the FFA Cup, but even just their success in the A League? And even if they don't win it, it feels like you guys have sort of at Gosford sort of just created something special. And this run, how important is it for Mariners to even win it or even just to have a good performance?
Oh, look, it already is a success, and I think this has been coming from the success that Mariners had last year. Under Alan Stajic finishing third in the league,
Yeah,
unfortunately getting knocked out of the elimination finals, but Nick Montgomery coming in and within his first I think it's only been 10, 11, 12 games in charge, has already gotten this young side to a cup final, which in itself is a massive achievement. So regardless of what happens in the game, obviously we'd love to win it, and
yeah.
it's our first final since 2013 when we won the A-League Grand Final against the Wanderers. So look, it's a massive game for us, and there is a sense of excitement around the Central Coast. And yes, we would have loved to have hosted it. It would have been awesome. Unfortunately, it's been being played down there in Melbourne,
Yeah.
but yeah, just a massive occasion for us coasties, that's for sure.
Yeah, now obviously I'm happy the game is here in Melbourne at Amy Park. I think the atmosphere will be buzzing, but I also feel like I'm a little bit disappointed that maybe it's not in at Mariners' home and it's not in Gosford because I think, like as you said, as I can see sort of online, it does feel like there's a bit of a buzz around the game, and Mariners fans, I think, are living it up being in a big game like this. How do you think, sort of? I think you guys have already sold a couple hundred in the away stands as well, which is awesome to see. Now we mentioned, Nick Montgomery as the coach. And I think Mariners are sort of one of these players that are, one of the clubs that I think maybe benefited the most from COVID in the sense of, not being able to sign players and Montgomery coming in as a coach and a lot of these young kids getting a time to shine. I think last year maybe benefited, Mariners the most, as we just said, in the sense of these young kids were able to get game time and able to play. What are your thoughts on that? Sort of like these young kids coming in, your team on the weekend's got to be full of them. How was, do you think I think COVID maybe fast tracked your sort of rebuild as of such in the sense of playing these young kids and getting game time into them? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting thought you bring up there that maybe COVID sort of it was almost a positive thing for the Mariners in terms of an on-field sense and the young players that have come through. And look, that's been the thing that I've been most pleased with from a Mariners fan point of view. Just the young players coming through. With the likes of Jacob Farrell, Harry Still, Max Ballard, Dan Hall, Lewis Miller, Josh Nisbet. I mean, some of these players who have already been here for a couple of seasons, but so many names. I mean,
Yeah,
we're going to see it on Saturday night for the Cup final. I think half the lineup is going to be players that are under 22, under 21 players. So
yes,
that's been the thing that I've been so pleased with this season. And Nick Montgomery's a perfect coach to come in and do that because he was working with the academy for the last few years before coming in as head coach. So he knows these young players so well. So that's why it is working so well, I believe, because Monty already has that relationship with so many of the young guys who are doing so well now at A League level, and it's so good to see that success coming across at A League level as well. And look, it's a similar system that we were playing last year, actually under Stajic in terms of formation and tactics. A couple tweaks here and there, and the foreign players that we've brought in, Mateus, Maresh, Binning, Kolodosai, Goddard, all still yet to sort of hit their peak, I feel like, but have shown glimpses. And obviously, Jason Cummings has been a big signing for us
yeah,
in recent times. Unfortunately, he won't be involved in the final, but look, I'm really pleased with how things are going because I think, again, despite finishing the finals last year, people still wrote us off. And, I don't blame them because you look at the Mariners and it's not a star-studded squad like Melbourne Victory, who recruited so fantastically
yeah,
across the preseason.
yeah.
So, look, just it's still very early days, but this cup final, man, it's a big opportunity for us to really show the league that we mean business this year.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. No, I agree with everything you said there. I think Montgomery coming in because I remember when he was playing for Mariners, and you
Mm.
always obviously see these past players become a coach, but I think him being a part of that academy sort of project, he knows the club, obviously very well already, and it's something that we haven't really seen yet in the A League. The past sort of A League players, except for you've got John Eloise and Mark Rudin and stuff like that, but like sort of that, I feel like Montgomery was a little bit after those sorts of
Mm.
players. So it's that sort of that era where Montgomery is probably one of the first ones, or one of the so I think it's a perfect thing for Mariners, and Mariners with a club that maybe someone like a Tony Popovich or someone like that might not find as appealing as the big Melbourne, Sydney, and
Mm.
Wanderers and stuff like that sort of thing. But I think it's awesome. I think the better the Mariners do, the better just in general the competition is, because the more you get. I'm a massive advocate for get the young kids playing.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, cool. We can go sign these 34-year-olds, but like get the young kids playing. Hopefully, I mean, we can see the Socceroos now, and they're in a bit of a mess. The better these young kids play in the A-League, and hopefully it goes up from there. Now, obviously, you guys have got the new striker Cummings, and as we mentioned, and unfortunately, he's not allowed to play. And I was pretty disappointed when like they said that he's not allowed to play because of the signing and all that sort of stuff. And I think he's someone that Mariners fans, as from what I can see, already adore him, and he played well when he came on in the week when he started on the weekend as well. You mentioned similar to Matty Simon. Uh, like I think it's someone that I'm glad as a Victory fan he's not playing, but like you want to beat the best players, you want to beat the best team that the opposition can possibly field out. What are your thoughts on Cummings? What do you sort of expect from him to come in this season? Because I think he's a top player, but what are you sort of expecting from Cummings this year?
Yeah, look, I mean, we already saw him. He got the start against Sydney FC last week, and I was surprised. I thought maybe he's only been in the country for a week after coming from a very cold Scotland. So he's now on the beaches of the Central Coast, and he was thrown straight into that game. Scored a fantastic goal against Sydney FC, and I think he'll bring. He's quite different to the strikers that I think we already have. I think he's a little bit taller than the likes of Arenya and Maresh. It looks like he looks a bit more physical as well. Like he's got some strength to him as well, and especially with Matt Simon out. And Matt Simon was so key for the Mariners last season. I mean, his partnership with Arenya was key to our success. So with Simon out potentially the rest of the season with injury, it was important that we brought someone in like Cummings in, who I think he'll chip in with some goals. And again, like the partnership with Arenya that he could create with the two of them up front for the Mariners excites me. And yeah, just to touch on the drama, I guess, around him not being included in the final. It's really disappointing. And Mariners CEO Sean Mellencamp, I think made his thoughts known on social media that like it would make sense for him to be included. The semi-final, it's during COVID times, everything's out of whack. Semi-finals were played, a week or two apart, whatever it was, but. It's all been so chaotic, and Jason Cummings was signed actually before our semi-final anyway. We just had to wait for the clearance to get him through. So, look, it's a big shame, and as they say, it would have been great for common sense to prevail and just to get him to play so we can see the best spectacle possible. And as you mentioned it, like you want to beat the best team, and Cummings being the quality and the pedigree that he has, surely would have made an impact in this final. So, look, as a Mariners fan, we can't dwell on it. We're just got to hopefully go ahead with the strongest team we can put on the field.
Yeah, and I think he's someone who, like, you can tell he loves a bit of the attention as well coming. So if he were to make sort of his second game as of such in a cup final in Melbourne, where it's pretty much got to be just flooded by Victory fans, I think he's, as we say, he's a Scottish guy as well. So I think I think he would have lived it up as well, which would have been pretty cool and brought a bit more atmosphere as well. Now we've spoken a bit about the lead up to it. Match prediction, sort of what are you thinking? The result, and I hate predictions, but sort of got to do them. Are you confident heading into it? Are you just sort of riding the wave? Speak to me. How are you feeling?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sort of the same. Match predictions are always a tricky one, but it's always interesting to talk about it. And look, I think as Mariners fans, we shouldn't be going into this game naive. We have to be aware of the victory that the quality the victory possess, and just to touch on Melbourne Victory, they for me have been the best team in the competition so far. Just the rebuild that they've gone under over the last 6, 8, 9 months since picking up the wooden spoon last year. Bringing in Tony Popovich, a proven successful A-League coach, all of the players they brought in, and the thing that terrifies me most with Melbourne Victory is their bench. The fact that I think the thing in this final is, regardless of what the scoreline is, towards the end of the game, whether it is towards the end of 90 minutes or towards the end of extra time, if it gets that far, Victory are going to be pushing the whole way. We've learned from Melbourne Victory is that they don't sit back. They'll attack. They'll bring on players like D'Agostino, like Robbie Cruz. They've even been bringing on Chris Economides. Like, these are all fantastic players coming off the bench. So with that quality, we have to be aware that Victory have throughout the whole game. But look, for the Central Coast Mariners, we have shown against quality opposition like Sydney FC, against there's been other performances as well where we've shown defensive stability, and that's what's got us through in so many games, not just this season but the previous season when we're performing well. The defensive stability to set up in the 2 blocks of 4. It's not parking the bus, which I feel like is a bit of a taboo term in the football world, but it's having that defensive stability and knowing when to attack, and that's what's worked for us so many times so far this season. So look, It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. If I had to throw a score prediction in there, I'm hoping maybe 1-1 at the end of regular time. I
Yeah,
think Victory score in the first half, and maybe Mariners sneak a goal in the counter attack in the second, maybe against some
yeah,
tired defensive legs. And then who knows what could happen from there? Look, I have to back my Mariners to like score a winner at the end of extra time.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe Marco Renia to bang in a winner 2-1. So you have to back your team. But again, just want to stress that like Victory, man, they're such a class team. Hey.
Yeah, I think just a bit on the Melbourne victory and just sort of Popovicing. I remember I did a video last year when I think it was the second time Victory lost 6-0, 7-0, whatever it was to Melbourne City, and I sort of said that Popovic is the guy that I wanted. And Popovic, I think is the man. I still think he's one of the best Australian coaches. And you just watching him even at the games, like he's so animated. He's always, you can tell he's already gained that respect from players. He's obviously brought players in that he already knew of as well, like D'Agostino, Economidis. He even coached Garia for a bit at Perth as well. And I think him being one of the best Australian coaches we still have. And and last year when he was at Greece, things weren't sort of really working well. He was a gaffer that I really wanted to come in, and I think he's come in, and you can sort of see straight away from where we were last year to who we have now. Jason Davidson comes in. I think it's pretty big. I'm going to go. And I think also D'Agostino's been tearing it up also. I think Robbie Cruz, I think he's enjoying this new sort of role that he's playing in the sense of, give me 20 minutes at the end and, I'll live that up. That last 20 minutes he comes on, plays a bit in the attacking role, a bit up front. He gives Falami and the other likes and D'Agostino a bit more game time as well. But I don't think Robbie Cruz has played a bad game this season. I think every time he's come on, he's played pretty good and he's made a much needed difference at sort of the dying stages of the game. And I think, look, I'm going to go. I think Victory will win. I'll be a bit biased. I think Victory will win, but I don't think it's going to be as much of a whitewash as I think what some other Victory fans may be expecting. I think, a full Amy Park. I think Mariners will still have a lot of adrenaline and a lot of just excitement about the game. It's probably the biggest game they've played in many, many years, Central Coast Mariners, especially being in that transitional sort of period. I think Victory will win. I'm going to go 2-1 win, but I think the second goal comes sort of 80, 85th minute, and I'm going to go my boy Nick D'Agostino. Nick D'Agostino, I think scores one near the end to make it late, and Victory lift up the trophy. That's my prediction. Hopefully it comes true, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking might happen. But hopefully it should be a good game. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I think either way, I think Mariners being in it, I think is a good thing as well. Like, just because I think if it was a
Yeah.
Victory versus Adelaide or a Victory versus Sydney or a Victory versus City, like yes, maybe technically it might have been a better game, but I think
Mm.
this is what the FFA Cup is, giving clubs that haven't been that successful in the A League the last couple of years an opportunity to really show themselves. And like you said, sort of so like, hey, sort of we are here. Let's we're in the transitional sort of process.
Mm.
But like we're coming and we're going to try and knock off that big top 3, top 4 sort of teams as Mariners once were a couple of years ago. So yeah, cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention? Anything else?
Dude, no, I think that's all good for me, man. I just can't wait for this game, dude. The hype has been building, so yeah, we're not too far away.
Yeah, awesome. Now, once again, thank you very much, Lachie, for joining me. And like I said, if you've got Coast Watch Football with YouTube channel, make sure to check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll tag it on Instagram, do all that business. Stay tuned. I can't go to the game tomorrow night, but I'm going to try do a little vlog sort of type thing. We'll find a way to make a vlog. So make sure to tune into that. Lachie, once again, thank you very much for the time. Good luck, but at the same time, I hope you don't win.
Man, likewise. No, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It's been a good chat.
No, all right. Should be sweet. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. It's been 1-0. We'll see you guys next week.